So what's going on here?
Just having dinner.
That's Dad's chair. He's gonna be mad.
Wow, Brian, you sure have been doing a lot of jogging lately.
It's called
Stepn. In today's video, I'm going to quickly go over my thoughts on Stepn, what I've been doing for the last 19 days, how I'm progressing, what they've been releasing to the public. So they've got a few different things such as building the future, rewriting the playbook, how they created a blue ocean market. This is their action plan that they released about 11 days ago. And then this was a reviews that they did before the action plan on June the 3rd. So they have been very good, and they have been speaking to the community very well. I'm just going to share the bad, the good, if Stepn's still a good thing to invest in right now, and what my plans are and what I expect the game to be. So just going to quickly speak about the bad. So obviously the biggest bad news is that we've gone from, if you look at the last 3 months, it has drastically dropped the price of GST. So we've had GST at an all-time high of like $8, and then slowly trickled down $3. We cruised from about $3 till 2.6. So this was a brief period of about what's that, 13 to the 25th, so like just over 2 weeks, and then eventually it's just been on a downhill climb since then. I haven't been making content because it's just been going constantly down, and I don't want people to buy in, or I didn't want to recommend people to buy in. I would have gladly shared my thoughts, but basically now for the last about a week or so, we've been at about 2.1, and then it's relatively stayed at 2.1. So I think we've now hit another plateau, so it could still go down a lot more, but I just want to share my thoughts and opinions and where I'm at. So I think the first thing that we need to know is that the reason GST has gone down is for many different reasons. I think the biggest overall one is a macro level. So at a macro level, if you look at a month ago and you look at Solana, a month ago Solana was at $51, and then today it's trading at just under 30, or around 30, it's 30.24. So Solana itself has gone down by nearly 50%, or it's gone down by 40% to be roughly, where GST has gone from $3 now to 2.1, which is what, 10x down. So the biggest thing to look at is, the first one is the macro level, and how Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum, how they've all dropped drastically in the last month or 3 months. The next thing to look at is the GST on the Binance Smart Chain. So we can see that at the end of May, they released a new token, and they released the new chain, which was the Binance Smart Chain, and they had special specific GST that was only on the Binance Smart Chain. And because there was such a small amount, the demand was very, very high. So just straight away, this was already trading at $12. It went all the way up to about 25, 28, and then it crashed like a rock, going back down to about $3 at the end of May. And then now it's gone down to 2.9. So it's still doing about 30% better than GST on Solana. But there was a long period of time where if you managed to get in early enough on the Binance Smart Chain, people were exploiting it in the sense that they would use shoes on the Solana blockchain, but then they would use that energy. So if you had 9 shoes or 15 shoes, and then you use that energy, and then one Binance Smart Chain shoe, you get paid in Binance Smart Chain GST, but you're using the shoes from Solana. And that basically just drove the need for Solana shoes way down. People were only buying them and only minting them in order to get GST on the Binance Smart Chain. But that's kind of amended itself now because of the action plan. The other thing that was really, really big is that this is probably the biggest thing, and the biggest reason why the whole game took a huge dump was that they said that they were going to ban any Chinese players. So currently the way that the Chinese players were getting into this game is that they would be registering with Hong Kong identifications or using Hong Kong SIM cards, purchasing, getting the game through that, and then just running back in China. You can't really VPN your location. So then what happens is now they made an announcement saying that anyone that's playing the game or using the game in China will no longer be able to. So the whole Chinese market has to dump all of their shoes. And what we see here is a very similar thing with what happened to when China banned Bitcoin miners. So you can see that the mining went up, it went up, it went up, and then at its all-time high, and then roughly at the end of June or the end of May, China announced that they're going to ban Bitcoin mining, and there was just a huge void. It absolutely tanked. And then eventually, what ended up happening, American companies and European companies either bought the machines, I don't know if the machines were completely destroyed, or eventually they would just take over and refill, and then now it's back at an all-time high. So I think the same thing will happen with, or the same thing did happen with the sneakers. So I think we had a period of time where the Chinese market, obviously they were a large part of the community. They bought a lot of shoes, and now they're forced to dump the shoes and sell the shoes. They create a lot of FUD because obviously they're very upset. I would do the same if I got banned from the game or I wasn't allowed to play the game. And this game was, if you were going from pulling $50 a day, and then suddenly they said we're not going to let this in your country, so obviously you get upset. There's also a lot of FUD and speculation that America will do the same, but nothing like that's been disclosed. So I think the next thing to look at is the action plan that they took. So the first thing is, in reflections, the main thing that they noted is that they want the values to be able, they wanted to create value for people and not just have it that it has to be new users that come in. They wanted the product to be more enjoyable. They wanted it to be a little bit more stable, less volatile, which is a little bit hard to do, especially in these current markets. And then in the summary, you can see that they realize that the cross energy bridge is very exploitable. They acknowledge that there's a lot of people that just do minting activities. So the minute mint is profitable, what people would do is they'd mint a lot, and then they'd pray that they get that 3% uncommon rate, and then that's pure profit, or if they got a trainer. But the thing is, because everyone would do that, so the minute minting became profitable, everyone would mint, and therefore that would drive the price of sneakers even more down. So they did say that the idea of what they did for the dynamic minting, that was very insufficient. I like the thought of dynamic minting when GST was doing really well. When it's doing really bad, it kind of hurts the game. And then they do acknowledge that there was a lack of adjusting mechanisms for both the sneakers and the gems. So what their action plan is the first thing is that they were going to fix the energy bridge. So they gave a good example. Obviously, all the links for these mediums will be in the description. But basically, what they did is they gave an example of the players that were buying 3 sneakers, but also having some on Sol, some on Binance Smart Chain. So they made a plan to fix that. The second thing is they acknowledged the big problem, which was the minting things, where people would just have a shit ton of shoes, and then the minute minting was relatively profitable, they would then just mint, and then that would just oversupply the current sneakers. These people weren't participating in the game. They were purely just minting for the sake of minting. And the way that they've solved this issue is through minting scrolls, where now anyone can find a chest, even if you play with 1 shoe a day, and then you can then find a minting scroll, which will then just severely reduce the amount of sneakers that are able to be minted, and that will then help keep demand and supply at a more even rate and not just constantly have an oversupply. So this is the thing here. So their plan to solve this issue of the people that aren't playing the game but just minting when it's profitable is that when you play the game, you get a chance of finding mystery boxes. So mystery boxes used to be different levels, obviously, and it used to be like common, uncommon, rare, mythic, legendary. But now they've changed it to levels, and now there are 10 levels of mystery boxes. So even if you have just one shoe and it's a common, you can still find level 1s, maybe even level 2 mystery boxes. But then if you were running 3 shoes, or you're running 3 shoes and an uncommon, you'll find level 3s, maybe level 4s if your luck is high enough. The other thing is they've increased the minting cooldown from 48 hours to 72, which is really good. So they've acknowledged the plan and they're trying to reduce supply through minting scrolls and through longer cooldowns. The next thing was the dynamic minting costs. So they realized that GST was a little bit messed up, especially with GST on the Binance Smart Chain. And this was a big problem because you only required 40 GST and then users could break even within a week. So they realized that they really did mess up with the dynamic minting costs on the Binance blockchain. And then the way that they fixed it is they basically just did it with percentage based now. But yeah, this was for the Binance Smart Chain. I don't think for the Solana one it made a big difference. It's kind of a little bit scuffed at the moment. I do wish that they amended the Solana one, because now that GST is way below $2, it'll be a while till we ever leave the 360. That was a big, yeah, that was a bit of a scary thing. Because what they did is, let me see if I can see it there. Where's the beautiful thing? But basically, I don't know if it's in this one or if it comes at a later stage. But what they did is they doubled the price of minting. So they literally were just like, we're going to slightly increase minting costs. And they just doubled it like that. And that was a good way to stop minting at all. Like, it's no longer profitable to mint. So they just doubled the price of minting. And then let's just keep going. Oh, yeah. So another thing that they're doing is that they're adding a new recycling mechanism where basically you can take 5 shoes of different rarities. So if you take 5 commons, you mint 5 commons, it automatically will become an uncommon. You can take 5 uncommons, make a rare, 5 rares, and epic. So they've got a whole plan in order to start burning shoes, which is really good. So the main thing to take away from this is, like, if you look at like a game like Axie, which I played a lot, and eventually Axie took a huge death. Rest in peace, Axie Infinity. But what they're doing is that they're trying to make as many mechanisms and implementations to stop mintings, to stop the supply, to burn the existing oversupply. They are trying to take the right steps in the game. They're trying to make it a more enjoyable experience. They're actively communicating with the community, and I like all this. This is all positives. Like, yeah, I do like that. I do like that there's like that they're adding things like you have to pay extra fees when you want to change your price on the marketplace in order to burn more GST and stop people from undercutting each other constantly. And then more importantly, just double check this out. It's in the thing. So let's look at the game as it is now, because as I said, for the last 7 days, yes, this doesn't look pretty, but that's just the current marketplace. If we look at Solana, for example, you can see it's just as wild. We are in a crypto bear market. This stuff does happen. But now the question is, what are my thoughts on Stepn and on Solana in general? So the first thing is, if you look at the price of shoe today, it is about $3.9 to $4 to 4 Sol. So let's just do a calculator. And let's say that we wanted a shoe at 4. It would be 4 times 30.2. So you're paying 120.88. Let's just say 120 US dollars at the price of GST right now. you making 0.21. And then let's say if you ran a runner and you make 10 GST a day, 10 times 0.2171, you're making back $2 a day, 2.177. So then we go 12.9 divided by 2.12, sorry, 171. It takes you about 55 days ROI, and that is only with, if you ignore boxes and if the game stays at its current pace, it is still an ROI of less than 2 months, which is still really good. Obviously it's not the best. I do think if you are going to get into this game, maybe one shoe is not worth it. I think there's 2 ways to look at it. If you just want to try the game and enjoy the experience and experiment in it, like get a walker and then just have a walk and get paid like $2 a day and enjoy the walk, like a 10-minute walk every day, and you have something that just incentivizes you to go outside and go have a walk. As a crypto degen, as you say, just go smell the grass and smell the roses. It could be worth it for you. If you want to get seriously into this game and you want to take a bigger risk, there's no better time to buy, 3 shoes, 9 shoes, and you get a quicker ROI. At the moment, I myself am running a 9 shoe strategy and leading the pack with 1 uncommon shoe. So if we were to do the maths, obviously I paid a lot more than this, but let's say you bought an uncommon for about 18, and then let's ignore that, and you would go 4 times 8, 32 plus 18, so you're looking to spend about 50 Sol times 30.2, 1,500, and then every day I make back 100 GST profit, maybe 110. So what am I looking at? I think it's on average 100. So let's say 21.7, I think it is. 21.7. So what we're looking at is 15110 divided by 21.7. We're looking at a ROI of 70 days. Obviously that's right now if you buy in. I bought in at a much higher price, but I'm honestly loving it. It takes me outside 1 hour every day. It makes me do some form of fitness. My thoughts on the game, I think it can go down. I honestly, if the market is continuing the way it is and ETH goes below 1,000, which it did today or yesterday, and ETH goes down to, let's say, 800, I think we're looking at another 20% drop on the GST token. Maybe we'll see Solana hit 27s or 25. But I think that's just the crypto bear market in general. I think the game will survive. Obviously, the ROI will constantly get pushed further back as more people hold their money during a crypto bear market and aren't willing to get into this game. I do think that there are 2 things that I haven't covered in this and I'm very optimistic about. The one is a gem strategy. So you play the game and you specifically earn your money through hunting gems and going for, the luck gem, the efficiency gem. If you can get level 2 gems, that's even better. So I think that there's going to be a big play in the gem strategy, and we've already seen this with the luck gem becoming more valuable than the efficiency gem. And then finally, the next strategy, which is a long shot, is that the next strategy that I think is a long shot is we go for a comfort strategy. Because I think if at the moment, I don't know if this has updated it yet, because there's only 5 mystery boxes, but I think what you guys will see is that the minute that they've changed it where level 30 shoes, the minute comfort gets added into the game and level 30 shoes start earning GMT instead of GST, there will be a lot of people that will level up a shoe because GST is cheap, get the shoe to level 30, and none of it will be in efficiency. It will all be in comfort and resistance, and then you farm GMT on the daily. And then that is a long shot. If you want to take a risk, what you can do is you can be purchasing the the comfort tokens. And with the comfort tokens is the minute the GMT strategy gets added into this game, that will be when the comfort token will be more valuable than the luck token, the efficiency token, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm still optimistic on this game. I still think it's got a bright future. I just think it's a crypto bear market. And more importantly, with the Chinese dumping the shoes, I think it's just going to take a bit of time till eventually that oversupply has been sucked up by the market. But yeah, let me know what your guys' thoughts are, what you guys are doing in your Stepn journey, and how it's all going for you in the comments down below. Catch you guys next time.